You're welcome to the faculty. It's a very wonderful, the first day of the week and the third day of the month, if I may say. But basically, today's faculty is going to be one of the most interesting faculties we've ever come across on Delta Broadcasting Service, the station to be. Us to discuss a very, very topical issue that has been a problem within the ambits of our legislature in the last 1 week. And today's topic, we're looking at the Natasha and Akpabio controversy. It's a great one. Too much controversies everywhere, but this one stirs up the hornet's nest. Why? Because it's happening right there between two senators, the Speaker of the House of Senate, and of course the senator representing Kogi West local government area in Kogi State, Senator Natasha Udwaga. And interestingly, a lot of pundits have come out for and against the proponents of these serious issues of sexual harassment, seat movement, and so many questions being asked. Yes, what brought up this scenario is of last week, precisely, I think the beginning of the week, the Senate was in such a state of discomfort when there was an altercation between Natasha and the Senate President upon instruction that she should change her seat. She considered that an affront on her personality, citing issues of non-recognition by the cameras or by the media if she goes to where she has been asked to go. And when you put it further, it was clear, we're informed that it's not something that was targeted at her, but it's been a norm within the Senate for senators to move seats. It's strange, though, for those of us that are not in the legislature, for senators to be moving seats when they are not writing any examinations or having any evaluations. But moving forward, greater issues now arose out of that singular act. Yes, by the Senate President. She raised issues of the last visit to her house, having both of them being birthday mates. The last visit to her house, the issue of indecent touching and holding of hands, and of course, indecent proposals of meeting probably after that meeting in Uyo, and so many other insinuations. And responding, the wife of the Senate President came up with a counter response, instituting and responding to the wife, rather to Natasha, saying that her husband is a saint. Actually, we cannot say for sure if he is truly a saint, but moving forward, it's great to know that what has happened has happened. So to throw more light to this wonderful discussion today, the controversy between Senators Akpabio and Natasha, we have two very wonderful people that are going to be helping us do that justice today, and I'm going to be calling them on to come and, of course, throw more light and help us, the less informed people, to know what is actually transpired. To my immediate left is a barrister for excellence, a woman of impeccable integrity, beautiful inside out, and of course well knowledgeable in the business of litigations and understanding of the legislation and how it works. Please make welcome Ife Iloba Esquire. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
All right. To my far left is a natural public affairs analyst, and of course the man that loves to talk the talk and act the act as well. Is a grassroots politician, and of course one of our friends in Data Broadcasting Service, Chika Omoso. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, viewers.
Yes, it's going to be a very interesting one, and I must let us know that moving forward, you see what has happened. I'm going to start with you, Loba Ife. Yes, so much has happened in the last 1 week, and we are setting more this week.
I think we've been led into like the opening of what you call a can of worms, really. But on another guise, I would like to say that it's good that we have this type of interactions where you test a system to see how just, how fair it is, and how procedural it is. For instance, we started with the issue of her seat and not her seat.
Yeah.
Point of order, standing. It has now come to for us laymen and women to see that they have their standing orders, of course, like every other organization, and they have a profile to address. For instance, when she was asked to move, and otherwise she won't be given audience, she refused, based on how she felt personally. She felt it was she was not being treated justly. Another senator came up, Kingibe, came up and said, of all the female senators, she's been treated right, giving preference more than the others. She has not been moved around as much as the rest of them have been. it's pointed to note now that out of 109 senators, we just have 4 female senators in that house, and that is already saying a lot about where we are as a nation. So the issue of misogyny is right there in our faces in this situation right now. And so, having said that, we now heard the allegations raised by the senator. We heard the allegations she has raised, and I would say that these allegations, however theatrical they may sound, because some people are saying, oh, she's just reacting to the situation, they are very weighty. And for what other intents and purposes, for all intents and purposes, it should be allowed to face the test of integrity, which is let's have them look into the situation, the appropriate body look into the situation and investigate the situation. I feel both situations are distinct on either leg. They shouldn't be married together, you know. The situation of her having to move a seat, and the other situation, the allegation of sexual harassment against the Senate president.
Yes, interestingly, if you're just joining us, is the faculty of all faculties. We're discussing the Natasha Akpabio controversy. Interestingly, great discussants here with me. Ife Loba Esquire, and of course Chika Omoso. Chika, you've seen it all, you've heard it all in the last 1 week. I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg. Can you give us an expose, the overview of your perception?
Okay, I want to start on this note that the 2 persons in question have been controversial. Let's just hold that point. And then secondly, to clear the air on what is going on in the House, that first, the Senate has a procedure. They change seat often, not because of exams, like you're trying to say, but because members do defect once in a while. And usually, people are supposed to sit together. For example, if we're from this, we're supposed to sit together. That's not the president has a right to change seat. So, whether there's a defection from your party to another party or from another party to your party or not, the Senate president has a right to change your seat. It even happened with Akpabio when Dr. Saraki was the Senate president. And he reacted, but you saw the way it was solved because, again, there was no ulterior motive to this action. Even you as the senator, you would understand. But in the case of, and that is why, again, in the parliament, they wouldn't allow a first-timer to be their leader because there are some experiences you need to have. There are things you can't just get from reading the book or reading the order, but your experiences will teach you, and it will make it quite easy. For me, to be very objective, I think she overreacted on this matter, but she was acting like a transfer of aggression. This is an opportunity to say something, you know, to react to things. And that is why she's not having a fair judgment, because we see that she's reacting to past events. She's bringing events that we don't know, that doesn't play out in the house, into the house. All right? Otherwise, she's supposed to go to the seat she was assigned to, because they say he who needs equity, justice, you must come with clean hands. You were supposed to go to that seat to make these points you're making. But no, you have not even obeyed the order you're quoting. You are referring to an order you're not obeying. Because Order 5 says that the Senate president has the right to change your seat. Order 10 says that you are supposed to be told or informed. So if you were not informed, you can only even at that point when you are in your rightful place. You understand? So, then again, if we were to treat, if there was nothing happening between you and Akpabio before, would you have reacted the way you reacted? And is it the point? Is this where you're supposed to solve your issues? For example, if you have been encouraging somebody to do something, because she told a story again that also further incriminates her, in the presence of your husband, because official things should be officially, we should be very professional. The Senate president takes your hand and walks around the house to show you around his, you know, and your husband behind and all of that, trying to catch up and all of that. See, these things, I hope this is not a distraction, a national distraction, because I wouldn't want to take side that Akpabio has been accused of this. she too has been fond of accusing people of sexual harassment. For example, I learned that she has accused Yaya Bello of sexual harassment, Dino Melayo of sexual harassment, and the latest is Akpabio.
Reno Mokri, yeah, I think that.
You know, and the latest one is the Senate president. I am saying that all of these things that are happening behind, we the Nigerian people don't know. So if you're going to handle it, because we're not there when it started, we just got to know that you're birthday mate. That means there have been some affinity between you and the Senate president.
Married, it probably.
So why do you want to come to the National Assembly to begin to see? We're not speculating. We're trying to just bring out some points.
When you are
so
done,
that,
I will address some issues because
if
you
you and I have been friends,
Exactly.
if you and I have been friends, we shouldn't bring it to the official place. And if you think this is the point to handle it, we will not look at it like you're trying to react. You're trying to bring us onto something we were not aware of before. However, I know that I don't want to be subjectively objective. I want to be objective. Open up the whole can and look at the things critically. Where do we go from here? That's the big question.
All right, where do we go
will
from
try
here?
to solve
Interesting.
it
I'm going
at
to
the
come
end
back
of
to
the
you.
day.
But when you look at this critically, you're going to be seeing that there is so much to ponder about, so much to talk about, because the controversies are very, very. She couldn't have just come out to start blowing the trumpet if there was not something in the past, no doubt. But now let's. I'm coming to you, Barrister, because let's look at the legal implications now. She has come out to bring to bear actions and inactions that transpired between herself and the Senate President out of plenary. And out of plenary. Of course, my brother there, Omoso, was trying to bring us to understand that what happened probably should not be the business of the Senate, but sometimes but they are intertwined, because actions behind the Senate, out of the Senate, because most times, like she made reference in some of our narration, is that where legislators gather, where senators meet. We went to Akpabio's house, where we meet after plenary. There's so much meeting. They even meet in London, to the essence that the husband had to go and meet Akpabio. There's something that is missing from all of this. If the husband is aware that he had to fly to London to see Akpabio on behalf of the wife, if Natasha is saying that she's been putting bills and they've been pushing them aside, that means something is missing somewhere. Can you put us through this missing link? Look, there are three questions I want to ask. From the legal perception of what she's saying, was there a sexual relationship? From what she's saying, does it look like there was, or rather, was there an infringement on her status as a gender status? Let me not use that word sexual relationship. Was that an infringement on her gender status? That is one. Then secondly, from what she has said, is it only logical for the Senate president to have relinquished his position with the weighty accusations, if in Senate clients have reneged his position, so that this thing can be thoroughly investigated? That is one. And the Senate Committee on Ethics, I've not heard them say anything. That means this kind of things do happen in the Senate, and we sweep them under the carpet, because, like she said, if she keeps talking, a can of worms will be open. So let's get your opinion.
Thank you. I would begin by saying I wouldn't want to preempt the Ethics Committee should it constitute itself properly to address these issues, which they should. But I will begin by saying that this is why we have been shouting for years. Women have been shouting. You can see, I told you that we have how many senators? Over 109. We have 109 senators. Of those 109, we have only 4 women there. We have been shouting. Women have been shouting. CSO groups have been shouting. Inclusion groups have been shouting to the high heavens. Meetings are held at inappropriate places, inappropriate times. Women are excluded from proceedings. She knows that she has to go somewhere else to meet other senators at certain times. Is it now her fault that she has taken those steps to ensure that her bills go through? Places where people meet, her mates are meeting. You understand? That is why we have been shouting for years that please let us have meetings in open places, early, during the daytime. You understand? So that women can be included. Because now you're already speculating that what is going on between them, what could be going on, why is it? without laying aspersions on the person. Yes, she has made allegations in the past of all sorts of harassment, and it is not far-fetched, and it cannot be a lie. I dare say so. Why do I say so? She's a beautiful woman. I know what women go through on a day-to-day basis. What is regular and what should obtain when somebody makes such an allegation is for it to be investigated. We cannot sweep it under the carpet, and we should not sweep it under the carpet. Those are things that should be addressed. They are weighty. And that brings me to the Senate's position on this. When such an allegation comes up, it is only natural that the Senate president say, oh, please, I would like this issue to be addressed by the ethics committee. I redirect it to the ethics committee to handle. And when we are not removing the seat from him, is we are allowing that issue of fairness into, you understand, and the principle of justice, that you cannot be a judge in your own case, to play out, so that we can see fairness. I advocate that Senator Natasha Uduaghan should face the committee as to her obedience, but at the same time, the Senate president should be made to answer and should be looked into on the issue of sexual harassment. This is not the first time an allegation is made by any female or against him. We had the NDDC woman say so. She said she even slapped him at that time. He did not try her. She was not tried. You understand? So we cannot also say, but he slapped him, and you now have to ask, why did she slap the Senate president? You understand? Yes. So those questions should also come to rise. So it is not out of place for allegations to come out. Any other thing that is happening, this person's wife saying I'm going to court, this other person saying I'm doing this, they are all distractions. But everybody is entitled to vent. That is the truth of the matter. But it will not take us away from what should be addressed. One, her position in expressing her displeasure. Did she follow procedure? They will look into that. The House of Ethics Committee will look into that. Two, the position on whether she was harassed sexually should be addressed too by the House. So these are weighty enough allegations, and we believe that it is only fair for our country's political system to be tried and tested and seen to be just when such things are put through the rudiments of justice and fair play. So
why can't they just go justice and fair play? It's pretty difficult, the situation we found ourselves in the Senate right now, and of course it's bringing an international embarrassment to this country with the kind of leadership. But then commending, I read the wife of the late governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, coming to say it wasn't viable for the wife of the Senate president to interfere, however you want to look at it, because and I look at Natasha as a person that probably has more to say, and the unfolding days more are sure going to be coming up. But let's look at the implications of what is happening on the leadership of the Senate. I'm talking to you on Mosso, because when you look at it, Senator Bamidele went behind, was trying to appeal to Natasha to sheath swords. I mean, if there was nothing really that's going to be implicating to some members of the Senate, he probably should not have been going behind the scene to talk to Natasha Uduaghan to please tarry a while and sheath sword. And besides all that, there have been strong indications from women groups saying that a lot of women, that not just in the Senate, and of course in the National Assembly and even some state houses of assembly, are being put through such udaisi. They've been intimidated by men, they've been subjected to sexual and of course informal treatment from male contemporaries in the discharge of their duties, and most times bills are being subjected to your consensual agreement, to maybe sitting out, or maybe relationships and all that. It calls for question the integrity of our legislation, with understanding what we are going through as a nation and what is playing out right now. Can you give us an expose with this little narrative?
Well, before I go into your question, I want to clear the air on where we are as a nation.
Yeah.
It's not really where we are as a nation, but where we are as women. women, are they able to bring themselves together to do something? Because it's not just about talking. We're not giving the right. We're not giving the right. If a woman steps out now to contest for election, would other women support her?
That's true.
You know, so it's again, we have to state this clearly. Like they say, if the heat is too much for you in the kitchen, then get out.
Yeah.
See, because I've come to see something about politics. It's not just a wait and take thing. Even the small ones we used to do then, sometimes you can go starving for a long time, you've not had time to eat because meeting here and there. Sometimes if you're not involved, you could call them unnecessary, but very necessary, very key, as small as they could be. That's been the nature of politics. We're not going to change it by shouting.
Yeah.
We're going to change it by getting involved. So women should get more involved. And the I dare to say, may also want to lobby with their body.
Yeah, of course.
But what do you
But
do
it
when
becomes
somebody
bad.
doesn't want to
And
lobby with their body?
now that is
Some people are coerced to
do that.
Do what
So
is,
I am saying
contrary
that
to that.
you have to know the rules of the game and play by the rules of the game. Now she has complained that she has been removed from a lot of groups, most of the conferences she paid for it herself and all of that. It also tells you her level of her ability to lobby things. It must not be that you're sleeping with another legislator for you to get things done. It's being able to carry people along. People can carry you along. Are you somebody we can talk to? Are you somebody we can rely on? These are things that are not seen on camera. It is how we react. When we get together and talk things together, can we really keep a secret to get things done? See, so those are the things I just want to clear, that politics has been like that. It's a midnight stuff. And that's why they call politicians witches and wizards, because they usually have their meetings in the midnight. It's not going to change tomorrow. It's not because women are involved. It's because that's the nature of the game. Then secondly, you have to be strong. You have to be calculative. You have to be determined. She's not the only female senator.
But
we have three others.
The others, let's understand something. The others, I recall Kingibe, she said she's like a mother to do. The others are over 30 years older than her. That means they are more like mothers to her. She is the only senator that is under 40, the female senator that is under 40. Besides all that, she just got married 2 years ago. She's very beautiful. She's attractive. She's accessible, and she's prone to coercion.
This should have made her work in the Senate very easy.
Yes,
No,
but when you are no, but when
I do not agree to that line of
no,
thinking.
yes. Why it makes it
You are-
very
you are-
difficult.
you are profiling her
Everybody
because of her
now,
beauty
yes.
and
Let me
her
understand
gender
something. Let me come to you, barrister.
To take particular.
Now let me come to you. I stand for equality, and of course gender equality most importantly. Now, looking at it from this perspective, looking at the insinuations, that the narrative that is coming out from Natasha, that means she's speaking like someone that knows so much, or that has had so much experiences on the hands from different women. Tapping a woman's backside is sexual harassment, and she would have had such harassment. Hugging
somebody's hand
without her
consent
is sexual harassment. Hugging someone without her consent is sexual harassment, depending on the perspective.
You can make your point
now,
without.
however, looking at the way she has been speaking on the floor of the Senate, both on so many print and electronic media, that's coming from her heart. She's not speaking because she was rejected, all those committees were rejected. You and I, it is not an exclusive right, or rather an exclusive scenario of the Senate. It happens in the public service. It happens in a lot of informal sector where women are being harassed.
Yeah.
For me, I'm leading somewhere, please. I will come back to you. My question is this. For Natasha to have come out or to be rejected in the different committees, I know the way the mindset of men works. And the mindset of not just men, even women in position, men in positions. When they try to give you, throw a carrot at you and reject the carrot, those pecks of office that are supposed to come to you, they will withdraw it. So it is a realistic situation. Now, that is what Natasha is complaining about. And I think I stand to believe her until I am corrected or I am made to disbelieve. From the legal perspective, what this lady is saying, will it be able to hold water when, and she says she has a lot of evidence, will it be able to hold water in the court of law? If, and of course, our judiciary will come to your judiciary. It's not our judiciary. We'll come to your judiciary. We're coming back. No, it's your judiciary. My judiciary is different.
Please don't sleep out.
Okay.
I would like to say that gender equality is something that we are looking at. It has come to fall. We are looking at double standards. You understand? Yeah. A man does something and the woman has to do extra to be acknowledged. She's not a walkover. She has never been a walkover. I recall the last time when she had an election and all the steps Yahaya Bello took to make sure there was no voting in her place. She moved and she moved powerfully. Constituency. Not a walkover. She's not a walkover. And so when a woman like that comes out and says, I am being discriminated against, I'm not being given fair treatment, not being allowed the things that I should be able to be allowed to access to those things, which would make me impact greater in governance. And you're saying that she should lobby some more. Who says she has not done enough lobbying? All those movements she has been doing, that she's telling you, we went for the birthday, you think she doesn't want to do her birthday in her house?
Yes, it's part of lobbying.
It's part of lobbying. She wants to have her birthday and have it to herself. You think she wants to travel all the way from Kogi to Uyo to doing celebrate somebody else's birthday on their birthday? It doesn't really add up. You understand what she's going to do? What she's going to do there, all that is lobbying. And to even secure her reasoning and to secure herself, she went with her husband.
Yes.
How many of them travel with their spouses?
None.
How many of them travel with their spouses, work related?
You will spoil the plenary.
Exactly.
You will spoil the plenary.
The authentic material.
If you ask the other 106 members to go with their spouses,
things will not go well.
The bills will not be able to be passed. Yeah.
They will not flow. But she has a supportive spouse who accompanied her, and she went with him. You understand? To further give credence to her job and what she's pursuing. But I'm so pained, and it's so painful that somebody like this who is ready to work is being sidelined and is being persecuted. If there's something there, the committee should sit and hear it. And then we will, of course, know as Nigerians why or if there's veracity to her claims. You understand? Any type of assault, you don't even touch any type of infringement, even verbal.
Before I come back to you, Barrister, please, before I forget this question I wanted to ask, because your response brought the question to my mind. Now, you are saying the committee, is it possible legally for an independent committee to be set up? Because for one, I wouldn't be comfortable if members of the committee, the ethics committee, are equally members of the same Senate, who probably could have been
perpetrators of
the same crime. If she had been a victim of some of members of that same ethics committee. And is it possible legally for them to put up an independent committee to look into this matter, people that are not part of the National Assembly? Because if you look at what this is leading us to, James Adlich said, I'm going to open a can of worms, and the can of worms is going to swallow so many senators if care is not taken. So,
I think it would have been better for those kind of worms to be open.
I'm telling you, for me, that's
what I want to say is this: initially when I was building some, to respond to what she said,
okay, please
that the ethics committee should have handled it, Senate president should have stepped down. See, he who goes for equity must come with clean hands. He's not gone with clean hands in this case. Remember, I'm not trying to defend the Senate president. I don't have the stature to defend either of them. I'm just looking at the case objectively.
Yeah.
You had an issue in the Senate. It's like you have, as a lecturer, there is a Senate in the school that handles things like this. Yeah. And now you went overboard and you went to court, charging the Senate president. That automatically removes power from the ethics committee to act. If you wanted the ethics committee to act, or even insinuate that the Senate president should have stepped aside for, for the matter to be looked into, then you should have allowed them to take charge of the matter.
That is why I say
it's like
there's a possibility that probably members of that ethics committee.
It's like in the army, you have a court martial. You cannot take our case out of the court martial and you expect the court martial to do justice to your problem.
I will stand to differ on this. The army and the democracy are two different things.
No, I'm saying you can't take the matter out of the court martial and expect.
So is it justifiable? I'm coming. Is it justifiable for the wife of the Senate president to equally take the matter to court? If her husband, you say she equally the wife. If it's investigated deeply, that means there's a possibility that the Senate president instigated the wife to sue for 250 billion. So I mean that we want this thing to continue because we want to see the end. And I stand with Natasha. I'm sorry to say it. I don't know. I'm a political, but for this one, I stand with Natasha. It's all right. Let's get your opinion.
Okay, we are in a theater of absurdities.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in a normal society, in a normal right-thinking place, I'm not saying we are not normal, but she should. The ethics committee should have stepped in immediately.
And suspended the Senate president. And so said,
let us look into,
suspend the Senate
let
president.
us look into this matter. They would have taken charge. That was the first step that should have been taken there and then, because she was out of order and she was out of line. But we have seen an instance where other senators have been out of line and nothing happened to them. They were treated and told, treated with respect, and not derogatory terms like you are doing as if you are in a nightclub. What kind of language would that assault?
That's why I started by making that statement. So, that these two persons have been controversial.
So that's why I'm saying that there is not. It's not everything is not as normal as it should be. Probably both of them
are gone to a nightclub.
And good.
Probably
and
they are both gone to a nightclub.
Like jokes with everything.
I don't like to speculate.
And this is not speculation.
It's what they have done.
It's what they have done.
So
there is a possibility from your perspective, from that statement.
I'm telling you
that there's been a relationship. Probably they have clubbed together.
No, I don't want to speculate.
Why are you behaving like we're in a nightclub?
Why are you behaving like
that
we're
was an uncalled for statement. It's a way of bringing somebody below.
In the Senate.
I'm just saying that the language was not proper for use in the Senate, whatever the background story to that was. If there's a background story,
is what
there's a leading story.
No,
not at all.
It's a speculation.
There's
a speculation. So he instigated her, and those things he said to her provoked and invoked what she had probably been bottling down inside. And you cannot tell a victim how to react, how to react to abuse or assault. You really cannot dictate. So when that happened, immediately when they saw it was out of hand, they should have taken charge. So we're in a situation where some people who needed to take action did not take action.
You can only take action if you are not part of the accused.
I know that they can appeal to her and say, please stay action.
But a victim not just the Senate president.
I'm saying now that process is a process that must go through legally, because if that process doesn't go through, you have not exhausted internal mechanisms.
Yes,
that's what it means.
Talking of exhaustion.
Yes,
of internal mechanisms.
They were not given that opportunity.
They will be given that opportunity
because they now have to look into it at the first instance before going to external, which is the judicial process, which they both flew out and flew to. So they need to call them back and say, stay on action and let us look into this matter. That is my position.
Let's look at our
this
legislation holistically. And there's so many acronyms that have been given to the National Assembly as being the most expensive, where we're practicing the most expensive democracy in the world, and be happening. And what's your opinion on that? Because I think these are like overgrown ajebotas. Just when you have everything.
They are getting juicy portfolios. That is what this is about. They are all fighting for juicy portfolios.
That you could even be going. We have a country, but you travel to London to hold meetings. A committee, we travel to UK to hold meetings.
Yes.
We travel to Canada to hold meetings at the taxpayers' expense, and we are groaning of fuel crisis.
To talk about problems that are happening at home. Maybe they want to do a comparative.
Recently, I have been coming to the studio. I'm pushing that we should wake up as a country.
We need to.
Things are not working as ought to. Things we go into government with the idea of this is the place where I can make it early, make it big. not where I can render services. And unfortunately, even those who should caution people and make people come on board to be a better person, they don't. For example, in the last in fact, in our local government elections, what we hear is that they write names. So they are even bringing young people to just come to seat of power and play politics. It's empowerment for you, not a position for you to serve the people. And most of these things, especially in the legislature, I am pushing that even in time to come, although some people will say experience, but these people, they have bad experience. Their experience is not helping the country. That no governor should go to Senate. After being a governor, you go to Senate like it's a retirement place. And some of them, they just go there and sit down. Some of them are very old. They can't even go through 1,000 pages of book to go through something to find out things. You have your age. That's why you now need so much aid to do things for you, because you are weak, you are tired. Some people have 4 wives. Now it should be the time, and they are weak. It should be the time to enjoy your family, your plenty wives. All of these things are leading background. People who should not be there are there because, again, let me give an example. If our how do they call him now? Our former governor, there's a popular name they call him. If he comes today that he's going for Senate, and I step out today that I'm going for Senate,
they will rush and vote for him.
They will rush and vote for him. He has the money. But the question is, what is this man going back to the Senate to do for us? Is it that he has not been there, he wants to legislate for us? Now, some of our people there, what have they done for us? I was telling somebody, I'm not here to criticize, that some people are even campaigning for 20. I'm not even talking about that. They are looking for additional states in this country. Is that our problem? The states we have, are they leading us where? Are the governor performing? Now, there are things the youth, the young people need. I thought we should have a senator who should be creating things for the young people, making policies, building things for young people to take part in and then grow. Not looking for states. But these are the things, because this is what maybe they think will entrench their dynasty. Yes. Not really what the people want. And it's unfortunate, because when I was contesting in that election, I was thinking that the governor of the state would just say, this is election for those who are capable, who want to lead, who want to serve, and all of that, and grow. But you write names and you encourage us, because we will keep growing. If you give me a position today and I utilize it well, I grow, I enter, and I come with that mentality that this is just a place for empowerment, not a place of service. And that is why it is difficult for any of them to make the change. The executive is supposed to make the change, but they cannot make it. The legislature now can't do that, because it's like biting your own, shooting yourself in the foot. It's actually too expensive.
Very, very expensive.
Very expensive to run government in this country, even the executive. So nobody is cautioning who. The person who is supposed to be a watchdog to the other is, because again, this lobby issue comes in.
Yes,
you need them to begin to get access to misbehave.
Yeah.
And so you can't fight them. And because you have given them what they want, they can't fight you. It's unfortunate. But if the young people now begin to wake up and we begin to decide who leads us in this country, automatically things will begin to shift. Let's begin to have more young people who want to make name, who want legacy, not just money, not just to pile up for the next 10 generations. They want to make name. These things will begin to change. Naturally, I would not, people should even, before you go into politics, what are you doing? So that you don't go there as a means to an end.
Most of them are doing nothing.
Politics has become a career. Everything he has said right now defines Natasha.
Yes.
You understand? But because she's a woman, first of all, now we are not seeing it. We are seeing it differently. She's young. She has worked so hard. Yes, she comes from an advantaged background, but she has impacted so far. And this is a young person who is there. As it is, and that's how she's crying out where she will cry out.
But let me say this, let's not forget, because there's this presumption that it's men's world. Complain. There's a lot of complaint from men, no? We just have one woman.
We're not telling you to keep quiet.
The uniqueness.
We're not telling you to keep quiet. We're saying speak out. And that's somebody speaking out now.
And we're saying that they say he's weak.
The uniqueness of Natasha's case.
Let him speak.
The uniqueness of Natasha's case speaks volumes. Now, why do I say that? The fact remains that sexual harassment allegations it's weighty. And if it had not happened, Natasha would not be speaking like this. If she has not been sexually harassed, she would not be speaking like this. And from the indication, from the body language and the aura of the Senate, it's a clear indication that there are more people that have harassed her.
They are assisting.
That are assisting the negative. That's why she doesn't feel safe.
And I'm happy a legal person is here.
Yes.
And you asked her a very good question.
Yes.
These things Natasha is saying, does it really carry weight?
And
you know why it's time to talk.
But
Opportunity was not available.
probably as an intelligent senator,
opportunity?
even while it was happening, she knew this day was going to come. That's why she said, I have enough evidence. And if you look at the Elema that I know, has kept quiet all this while. The Emmanuel,
I understand.
I know.
He has issued a statement. I think
just
this
issued a
morning,
statement.
later,
And when you see the statement was
he's keeping his
he's
gunpowder
yes.
dry.
And you can know that if this thing is not handled properly, that there's going to be a counter reaction, how in whatever capacity.
That's why
and the Senate, there are a lot of culpable senators in that Senate from Natasha's utterances. That's why there is so much food dragging on this issue. But however, before we leave this little time is not our friend. Barrister Iloba, you are when you came in, I said, oh, you look beautiful like Tasha. You're finer than Natasha anyway, but that's all right.
Please.
but she has not been harassed.
Yes, well, we hope that
you treated me very well.
well,
God
yes,
led
I'm
me
not,
by my hand.
I'm not the Senate president. I can never be Akpabio. But however, moving forward, I can't Akpabio you. Yes. What is your definition of a strong woman?
A strong woman.
Would you be able to call Natasha a strong woman?
A strong woman is so many things. A strong woman is a woman who has the ability to be soft, to be strong, to conquer, to achieve, to do so much, yet still have time to address the things that are near. You know, she reaches out and she takes care of what is inside too. The strong woman is a woman who caters to so many and still remembers herself, because we care so much for other times and forget ourselves. A strong woman is a woman who knows how to handle her affairs.
Yes, that's a good one. Let me come to you. No. Your question must be different because
you want to answer my own question.
I don't want to answer.
Say what you want to say.
No, you want to puncture my question.
I don't want to puncture, but
strong woman definition.
Leading to a conclusion, I just want to say this, that these two guys, we have to watch them closely, because my mother used to tell me that if you then you are also a troublesome person, because you're always having troubles. All right, so these two guys are always been having this, you know. So
please don't blame her for her beauty.
No, nobody's blaming her. But don't make me feel like you're with me and along the line you have been embarrassed. If it's not working from the beginning, cut it off, so that it doesn't lead to the big issue. I am not trying to advise her. She's already a senator. She's a big woman. She's a strong woman. But I'm saying that politics is full of oppression. Politics is like in the kitchen. There's a lot of heat. You have to be strong. If you make noise too much when you are in politics, people will consider you a noisemaker than a politician. So you have to be strong, be focused, get things done, get results.
Because of a lack of compromise.
I wouldn't mind if she's victimized, because there's a lot of things she's wrong. I mean, why won't she be victimized? I would want to victimize you to bring you to my side. All right?
And that's the scenario that we find ourselves today. It's been an interesting discourse here on the faculty. We've looked at the Akpabio and the Natasha controversy, and today it's not been any different. Quite a firecracker discussion here. I had two very beautiful and exciting, and of course,
thank you.
And of course, my brother, my friend Chika Omoso, a public affairs analyst, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir.
It's been the faculty, and like I did say, on Natasha, I still stand because there's so much happening in a National Assembly that calls for attention. But however, moving forward, do have a wonderful week ahead. Good morning.